Hello everyone, I am the Grey Bacawlin, and if you see this tier list without context, you're probably incredibly confused. But the context is simple. I'm imagining a hypothetical where every Marvel Rivals character is limited to only their basic attack, which on controller is right click and on PC is left click. Um, so yeah, they can move and they can use their primary attack. That is it. We have 5 tiers for this: actually viable, still solid, meh, terrible, and actively detrimental. So let's go through them. Let's start at the bottom. Actively detrimental. These are for the characters that you are at an active detriment if you play them in this hypothetical, because they are, at best, completely useless. At worst, that's basically what terrible is. That's completely useless. Or, for the most part, useless. Actively detrimental, it's what it sounds like. You're an active detriment if you're playing these characters. There's 4 of them. It's the smallest tier, but... So let's go from left to right, because I feel like that explains a lot. So, Black Widow. She starts with her batons equipped, not her sniper rifle. If she had her sniper rifle, she could actually do things. But when she's stuck with her batons and no kick, her batons are incredibly pathetic, don't do a lot of damage. They don't really have any other effect. I think they might slow the opponent down a little, but that's it. And she has 250 health. 250 health is not very good for a melee character, especially when you can't get any extra bonus health. It's moving over to Hulk, or in this case Banner, because he can't transform into Hulk. So he's stuck with his pretty pathetic gun, which, while it's at least better than being stuck as Black Widow, he has even worse health. So if, say, Hawkeye just charges up an arrow, he's dead. No ifs, no buts. Daredevil is literally blind beyond, I think it's 20 meters. So, and he can't track targets. He has to go based off what his natural vision shows him. And Doctor Strange, he's going to build up Maelstrom of Madness, but he won't be able to release it. So he literally won't be able to get healed, so he can't tank, which is his whole job because he's a tank. Alright, I think I made my point pretty clear about why these 4 are at the very bottom. Let's move up to Terrible. Terrible is, you're going to notice a trend in Terrible. It's mostly melee or melee adjacent characters who don't have access to the tools that make them so powerful. Or at least okay. There are a few exceptions, but I'll talk about them. Angela is a flyer, which gives her at least something, but she can't use her shield, she can't pull enemies off the map, and she can't dive to go into axe mode. So she's not very good. Black Panther doesn't have access to his spear toss, to his dash, to his kick twirl thing. The Coldest Blade doesn't have access to his vampire mode, and he doesn't have access to his dash. He can't block incoming damage, and he can't switch to use his gun. He's purely stuck with as a sword user. Human Torch is a major exception, and is incredibly limited by the fact that he can't use his AoE thing. He's stuck with just his shitty primary, which it's okay in flyer duels, but he's literally the worst flyer other than arguably Angela in this hypothetical. So that's really not doing him any favors. Then there's Iron Fist, who can't make his punches faster, who can't use his kick ability, who can't heal himself. Penny Parker's one of the other exceptions. She can't use her mines, and on defense is really the only time she's super useful. She is the closest character to being in at least meh, but she's still, I don't think her primary is strong enough to warrant that. And she's giving up a lot of her things to be able to use it. Which, granted, pretty much every character is, but especially Penny Parker. Well, at least she's not actively detrimental, am I right? Rogue suffers from the same issues as the other melee fighters. Scarlet Witch is basically trapped in melee without her secondary fire, her orb, or her invisibility ability. I don't remember what it's called, but the one where she can phase out of existence and move around for a moment. Sorry, I've got a bit of cough. Spider-Man does not have his swings, does not have his projectile, does not have his uppercut. He doesn't even have his double jump. Which, yes, I do consider double... Like, the only moves that characters can use other than their primaries are ones that activate automatically. Which does not matter for most of them, because most of the moves that activate like, Iron Fist can gain bonus health from getting hits. Cool. How is he going to get hits? The same logic applies to magic, I just feel like her damage is better. I'll explain that in a minute. So yeah, Spider-Man's only ability is Spidey Sense, a move that already is pretty useless. Thor, he just kind of suffers from not being able to go into awakened state or to pull enemies to the ground. He can't move forward quickly. He's essentially just a wall, but a better wall than Angela, so he'd be higher than her probably. And then Wolverine, sure, he can still use his extra regeneration thing because it activates automatically. Cool. Counter argument, what's he going to do with that? He's literally just a projectile bot, and he's not even the best one in this tier, yet alone in the entire roster. In fact, literally no tank placed above Meh other than Mr. Fantastic, because we all know he's a tank. Alright, let's move on to Meh. This is for characters who still have something, even after the nerfs. It's just not enough to really still be good. What that is varies from character to character, though. But you'll notice some general trends. Adam Warlock still has good damage. Cap will still have good survivability, just not as good because he can't use his shield or his super good run. Deadpool overall, I just put Deadpool in Meh. Like, the forms do have their own strengths and weaknesses. Healer Deadpool would probably be in still solid, and DPS pool would probably be in terrible. So and Vanguard would be in Meh, so I just averaged it out. Emma Frost still has her pretty decent projectile, and she is a tank. Groot has his very good primary, which is, yeah, it does a lot of damage, but he doesn't have his walls anymore, so that's a pretty big weakness. Iron Man can fly, which there are a lot of projectile characters in this that would be very dominant, but that is a benefit for if someone plays a grounded character. All, like, one of them in the top 2 tiers. Loki is my main, but I cannot argue for him to be above Meh because he doesn't have his clones or his regen domain. He can still at least heal, but most healers that have a healing primary are above him. Actually, I'm pretty sure literally every single one is. Yeah, literally everyone is. Magic, she suffers from a lot of the problems as Iron Fist, and similar to how Penny is the closest to moving up, Magic is the closest to moving down. But Magic, in my opinion, is better because she does more damage, has better range, and isn't as reliant on her abilities as Iron Fist is. She's still reliant on them, but she can probably make do better without them, just because her sword has more range. But yeah, she is very close to being terrible, and if you want to argue for it, I won't argue with you because it makes sense. That might have been... Alright, so Magneto is in here because he's a big wall who does decent damage with his primary. Mantis has good damage, but she's a healer who can't heal anymore. Moon Knight's primary is very good, but he can't use his ultimate, which I don't know if I clarified it, but Moon Knight's really the only character it'd matter for that much anyway. Ultimates do count as other moves, so they still would be disabled. So Moon Knight wouldn't be able to spam his ultimate every 30 seconds. If he could, he would definitely be in Still Solid. Namor does a lot of damage even without his squids, but the fact that he doesn't have his squids limits him severely. Psylocke, her primary is good, but there's not really much she can do without it, but she's not terrible. Rocket has a very strong primary, but again, he's a healer who can't heal. But I could definitely see an argument for Rocket going up and Still Solid at the very least, just because his DPS is very good. The Thing is the Thing. He has big health, does good damage with his primary, although the fact that he doesn't have his secondary is a pretty big weakness. And yeah, Ultron, normally he sucks because he doesn't have that much healing. He still sucks because he doesn't have any healing in this mode, but at least his primary is good. And Venom has a good primary, but doesn't have his swing or his grip ability, whatever it's called, to hold his foes in place. He also can't use his bonus health ability, so he's only got 800. I say only, but that's second only to Groot and arguably Hulk. Well, not in this mode because he can't even become Hulk. All right, so up and Still Solid, we have a lot of our healers. Cloak and Dagger is stuck as Cloak, but has a homing attack. Invisible Woman has solid healing, but doesn't have her shield or offensive abilities. Jeff has good range, good healing, and decent damage. And Luna Snow has good healing and damage, but they don't have anything crazy that pushes them above. Because, the reason Gambit's an actually viable while these four are in Still Solid is because Gambit has really good damage with his primary. So, yeah, that pretty much covers why Gambit's in top tier. But, Mr. Fantastic. He will naturally become Big Boy Fantastic, like big, muscular, bombastic man. Star-Lord has very good DPS, though not nearly as good as the characters in top tier. And Storm actually acts as a very good support character because of her AoE ability. And the fact that that's a passive really helps her in this mode because it's not an ability she activates. Sure, she can't activate the ability to do more damage, but she can do increased speed, and that is very helpful, at least from my experience. Storm's not very well played, and she's not a character I'm super familiar with, so if you have an argument for what tier she would actually be in, let me know. And top tier, I've already talked about Gambit, but the three other sniper-ish characters, Hawkeye, Hela, and Phoenix, that aren't, every sniper that's not Black Widow is really good, especially Hawkeye, just due to the nature of Hawkeye's kit. Hela, though, as much as it pains me to say this, she would definitely be top tier just because she already just spams her primary. Same thing with Phoenix. Phoenix arguably could be in Still Solid, but I think her primary is enough to carry her in. Squirrel Girl is literally primary fire the character, so yeah, I don't think I need to explain that one. Punisher has arguably the best primary in the game besides Hawkeye, so he's really, and he has 300 HP, and Bucky is literally known as the buff merchant, and even without his other abilities, he's still really strong. So that's going to do it for this tier list. That really, if the devs ever see this and add this mode, credit me, please. See ya.